Hi Jesse, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Please take the middle microphone.
Okay.
Hi.
Thank you for being walking into the room. So you're welcome for being here. Am I expected to? I have to hold this heavy thing the whole time.
Did you put it down? That's fine.
It also feels like bloating, like because there's no easy way to hold it discreetly. Thank you so much. Do I start?
No, I'll start. I was going to let you run though.
Oh, it's just like an awkward silence, which is normally what happens when I walk. But okay, you can.
How are you feeling? First of all, you just won a BAFTA.
Oh, I feel really, surprised. The other award I won for this movie was the London Film Critics, and I must be living in the wrong country or something, because I also, but I should be here more often.
Yeah. I'd love to have you here more often.
That's so nice. You don't know what I do when I'm a local. I'm very messy.
This story is so gorgeous, and you have a personal connection, very much a personal connection. So how much of it was sort of shaped by and remembering the voices of your family, friends, your community?
Oh yeah, thank you so much for saying that. It's funny, I'm like going back, because I'm doing so much press for the movie, I've like been going back in my mind like retroactively trying to figure out what's real and what's fiction, because when I'm writing, like I'm not trying to think, when I'm writing, I'm really trying to think of what would be kind of like a compelling story. What are the things I want to express that are inside of me that I can't express, that I can't articulate to another person, that I can only articulate through fiction. And so sometimes real things come in, and sometimes those real things don't make sense in the story that I want to tell. So this movie is fiction, but there are certain very specific autobiographical details in it, like the house we filmed the movie in. It was my family's house up until 1939. We talk frequently about this woman, Grandma Dory. She's based on my Aunt Doris, but it's also actually a combination with another person, Maria, who survived the war, is my cousin, who survived the war. And so it's hard for me to kind of parse out what's fictional, what's non-fictional. The movie I'm directing now is about a woman played by Julianne Moore, who's very shy, who joins a community theater troupe and finds her voice. And that was my entire life. I was a very, very shy kid, and then I found community theater in New Jersey and found my voice. So that movie's very personal too, but it'll look different. But this is all because I'm not getting paid to write anything. So I just write things that are personal, because no one wants me to write them in the first place.
You obviously did a great job with casting, because Kieran Culkin has just won an award, which is incredible. Why did you know that he would be the perfect Benji?
Kieran and I never worked together, and I'd never seen him in anything, except in 2008, I was doing a movie called Adventureland, and Kieran came in to audition for a character, and he started attacking me in the room. Like, some of it was kind of scripted or implied, and some of it was very much not. And then he was so funny in the room, and so brilliant, and so dazzlingly interesting and mercurial, and made me feel embarrassed that I was so boring next to him. And so when I was making this movie and looking for somebody to play a character who comes onto a tour that I've paid for and planned, and then completely overshadows me and attacks me and charms everybody, I had just had this memory of doing that with Kieran and being so dazzled by him. And I can't think of, I couldn't get him out of my head. And of course now everybody else got to see what I got to witness in the front row, which was just like an unbelievably brilliant, complicated performance of a character who was so many things at once, who is somebody who is so kind of tortured inside, but oftentimes it comes out paradoxically as charming charisma. And there's just no one on earth who can do that as well as him.
And when you were writing it, are you somebody who needs to show it to people as you're going for sort of help with shaping it, reassurance, or do you just like to write in?
Oh, that's so nice to ask. Thank you. Yeah, I write at the library in New York next to my friend Jim Begley, who writes his own scripts. He had a movie that came out this year called I'll Be Right There with Edie Falco, and we write our scripts together. And so he says, hey, what do you think about her getting ice cream in this scene? And I say, oh, that'd be great. Yeah, she does that funny thing in the ice cream. And then I ask him, hey, what do you think about them kind of smoking weed on the building? He's like, oh yeah, I think that could be interesting. You wanted to use that in one of your plays. Put that in here. And so I have, so we're good friends, and it's a joy to write next to him. And that's become my process in like the last 5 years. I used to write just at home, and you're just sitting around all the stupid stuff that you bought and your dumb life choices, and you can't get anything done. And now I go to the library where I own nothing, because you can't own anything from a library, you have to return it. And I sit next to my friend Jim, who keeps me on task.
Thanks so much. I'll turn it over to the press.
Got hand up there.
Hi Jess, my name is Leticia, I'm from Brazil.
Hi.
And I'm from Polish families too.
Oh, wow.
And I thought this movie so moving, and I could connect so many times. And my question is, how did you have like the idea of putting, because you say you write for about yourself, about your personal experiences, and how did you come with the idea of putting like this whole thing together, and you know, if you expected this to be like so to have so recognition?
Thank you, dziękuję, or obrigado. Thank you so much for asking that. I assume nothing I write is ever gonna get recognition. I mean, and for the most part, I've been really correct. So this I wrote in like email drafts, because I was treating it more kind of like a diary. You know, I have these conversations in the movie with Kieran's character that are things that I've wanted to say to other people in my life forever and haven't been brave enough to or articulate enough to in the moment. And so that's kind of what this movie started as. Originally I was trying to adapt a story I wrote that took place in Mongolia, where these two guys go to Mongolia, and that story was not going well. I mean, I had a good beginning of the story, but then when they got to Mongolia, I only had an ending. Anyway, so I was like having trouble writing this Mongolia movie, and then an ad on the computer popped up for Auschwitz tours with lunch, in parentheses, with lunch. And I clicked on the ad out of complete gross fascination, and started learning about these Holocaust tours where, they're designed for kind of upper middle class Americans, British, Australian, English speakers, who go to the sites of horror during the day and then go eat at like a fancy restaurant at night. And there's nothing wrong with those things. I don't have any judgment to those things. It's just an odd phenomenon, and I thought that would be a really interesting thing to explore in a movie, because it could be visually stunning because you're going from place to place, but also could be thematically interesting because you're talking about this great irony of how we perceive past grief, and how should we view it, and how should we think of ourselves, and how should we think of our own pain with regards to historical trauma.
Hi Jessie, Remy Theobald from The Hook here. Congratulations on your win. I just wanted to know, obviously we've all loved the film, and I've loved seeing all the interviews and everything, and you've had a bit of fun doing a few TikTok trends, marketing the film. I was just wondering, what was it like filming like the Full House intro meme and stuff like that?
Okay, so I'll tell you what happens. I'm not only an idiot, but I'm also 41. So this sweet young woman, Lori, who works at Searchlight, she says, hey, can you do this really quick? And I say, what's it for? And she says, don't worry. And then it goes online. So I don't understand what it is. I haven't seen them, but I just trust this young person because she's the future and I'm the past. Oh, thanks so much.
I've got a question here.
Hi. Hey, it's Bella from the News Movement. We actually chatted before. It's such
Yes,
a
of
pleasure to
course.
see you again, and
Thank
huge
you, Laura.
congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
From posting some videos of yourself and Kieran online, I think people are really intrigued about your dynamic. So I'd love to know, in your own words, kind of what is your dynamic together, and do you have any plans to work together again?
I love Kieran so much. Am I allowed to curse?
Yeah.
So like halfway through the shoot, we were in like a room together, and I was just like, you're just like the most amazing actor. Is there any part you want to play that I could write for you? And he goes, shut the fuck up. Who does things like that? And I was like, oh yeah, I guess people don't really do things like that. So anyway, that was my attempt at trying to work together again. And in terms of our dynamic, I'll text him today. You won. I'm so proud of you, won the BAFTA Award. And then in 3 weeks' time, my phone will buzz and it said, hey, just got this, thanks. So that's the closeness with which you imagine we live.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, you were mentioning before how well British audiences respond to your work. Are there any British TV shows you'd like to be part of that you're a fan of?
Well, my best friend here in England is Richard Ayoade, and I love the show he did, of course, Garth Marenghi, and I also like his Travel Man shows, and I think I was going to do Iceland or something, I can't remember, but I like working with him. He's so funny, and for me, the only person who's kind of a little like equally or more high-strung than me, and so it's a real kind of just a relief, just adrenaline-wise, to hang out with him. And then of course, what Ricky Gervais did in the Office was so mind-blowing to me. I know it's been celebrated and talked about, so I'm not adding anything new to the conversation. But to be honest, it was like the most interesting acting I've ever seen. I used to watch it and then watch in slow motion to see his face change. And I know that it might seem like such a stretch, but what Kieran does in this movie was often on my mind of what Ricky Gervais did, because there's a broken man behind some kind of obnoxious charisma, and I just thought what he did was kind of groundbreaking, and that show's over, so I guess I don't have an answer. Thank you.
Eisenberg, thank you so
Thank you so
much. Enjoy your night. Congratulations again.